All right, let's get going here. Welcome. This is Kurt. I made a video a little while ago about finding investment properties in the area, and I promised that I would make a follow-up video about how to actually find these properties. And I talked about a couple things, and if you hadn't checked out that video yet, I would probably start with that video. Or you can watch this one quickly and you'll kind of be ahead of the game. But I wanted to share my screen with you and walk through exactly what we do to find properties that we're interested in. So I'm going to focus mainly on Santa Rosa Beach, but of course, if you want to focus on different areas, different types of property, I encourage you to explore and learn more about these areas and learn more about what fits your lifestyle. I'm a firm believer in going where you want to be. If you buy an investment property in somewhere you don't want to be, you're not going to like it. You're not going to potentially use it. That's another benefit of having an investment property or short-term rental is you get to use it, or your family can use it. My mom's coming in town in a week or two, and she's using our short-term rental while she's here. I blocked it off, and they're going to enjoy that. So, without further ado, I will share my screen with you and we'll get going. So let me open up a browser here and I will share my screen. Here we go. All right, I'm going to put my head right here and I'm going to actually move this little guy down. Okay. All right, I'll put my head over here. So, you can start out at any search site you like. There are benefits to using one like mine that's connected directly to the multiple listing service versus Zillow and other ones. The biggest difference is mine will update faster. So if something's under contract, it'll show in real time versus Zillow. I think it updates every day. So your benefit is you're going to get properties sent to you faster, more information. And every website has its little nuances, but we'll start with my website. And if you want to use a different one, that's fine. So we'll start to go to kurt30a.com. We'll start here. This is my website. And you're going to you can either hit the search bar, it'll open up the map, or you can search down here. We'll do Santa Rosa Beach just to make it easy. And we'll search. Now, the website is going to prompt you to log in. Now, why is that important? So there's a lot of benefits of having your own dedicated login for a website. The biggest, advantage is it's going to save what properties you're looking at. It's going to alert you when new properties like that come on the market. You can save a search. You can save by price point. You can save by, how many beds, how many baths, location, things like that. And we also have an app. If you prefer to, search on your phone, I can do a video on how to search on your phone. Pretty easy, and you'll get push notifications versus emails like with the online thing. But some people are app people, some people are desktop. I like the desktop because you can kind of see more. But here you can see we're looking at Santa Rosa Beach. And it's going to default to days on website here at the top. So that's going to show you the newest properties first. But as investors, we don't really want to see the hottest properties right now. So we're actually going to go, this is the first page. We're going to go to the last page, which are the oldest properties. And we're going to start here. And we're going to start looking at these properties and see if any of them have any investor potential, and what we might be looking for as an investor on these properties. And you can also, another good indicator for investors is to search by reductions. These are properties that have been recently reduced. Basically, the seller's raising their hand and saying, hey, I'll take less money for my property. So if you search reductions, it will show you all these properties that have recently been reduced, and you can start to search through them and see if any of them might fit your criteria for your investment property. But we'll go to days on market because I really like searching by that. So we'll go to the last day. And what we're looking for, like we said, is the rough surrounded by the diamonds. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you there are some high price listings, so don't be, freaked out. We do have high price listings in our market, just like every market. There's really desirable places, and then there's, the places that are pretty average and normal. So don't be freaked out by, 3.7 million. All of our houses aren't 3.7 million. So what we can do is we're going to kind of go through here and we're going to go to the next page because I didn't see anything I liked. Um, a good indicator is typically if they only have pictures of the outside. That's a good indicator that it's probably a rough property, um, or it needs to be renovated. So let's take a look at this one. This 520,000 single family, three, two and a half. Let's see what it looks like. Now we're looking for if it's been renovated or not, or if it needs to be renovated. So, and we're also going to look at location. So it's going to prompt you to log in, and it's saying like basically, hey, you're looking at this property. If you're interested in getting more properties like this, we can send you more. So I'll go ahead and I'll just log in, blah, blah, blah. You can put your cell phone number here if you want. We also can send you properties through text message if you consent to this. And then you just continue with your email and bam, you're done. It's that easy, literally. And if you want to ask a question, you can go right here. You can request a showing from me. You can share the listing with your friends. You can chat with me right here. And also, the benefit is that you can save this property. So if you're interested in it, you'll get notified if they change the price, if it goes under contract, or if it sells. So we're going to look at this pretty quickly and we're going to see if it's something we might be interested in. This is very odd. This is, not a lot of people have fireplaces in the middle of their living room. So that's something that would be I would say a negative. And this has a lot of potential. So, looks like they've done a little bit of updating here and there, but these countertops look like Formica. It's got this travertine backsplash, super old school. This basically needs to be renovated. So that's kind of what we're looking for. As an investor, you're saying, is this a good renovation type project that I can take on? And how much work and effort is it going to be to put into this? And as you get better at this, you'll start to understand, hey, I can get an appliance package for $10,000. I can renovate a bathroom for $15,000. I can renovate a kitchen for $50,000. So you'll start to get these big numbers where you can really quickly go through a property and see if it's worth what you're willing to put into it on the resale side. Um, Personally, I always like looking for properties that are in a short-term rental approved area. Every community is different. They all have different bylaws. They all have different rules and regulations and restrictions. So if you absolutely want to be able to short-term rent your property, don't get one with an HOA. You can tell down here in the lower area, it'll say how much the HOA is. We can actually search by HOA, and it will tell you if there is an HOA or not. And if there isn't, then by all means, you can do the short-term rental. So it'll tell you at the bottom if there's an HOA. But you can specifically search for that too, or I can set you up on a search if you want me to. So this property, it looks okay. I'm not too impressed with it. I would say it's probably middle of the pack here. Another opportunity for investors as well, as I just kind of stumbled upon this one by hitting back too many times, is land. Land is the first thing to go in a market downturn because it does not generate any income typically, unless people are parking vehicles on it or something like that. But it costs the owners money. If there's a mortgage on it, they're paying to have that land and it's sitting there not generating any income. So keep that in mind. That is an easy opportunity to buy and build. And if you're interested on the building side, I can do a whole nother video on that and walk you through kind of the construction process. We work with builders who build the house. We don't manage the house. We don't manage the build. We hire a general contractor to do that for us. They take anywhere between 18 to 25% of the square footage typically and the build costs. So, normally they will bid a project based on the gross square footage, which is overhang, the decks, all that type stuff. It's not just going to be your heated and cooled square footage. A lot of people make that mistake and they think, oh, I'm building a 2,500 square foot house. It should only be 2,500 times, $300 a square foot to build. but then it's got an extra 2,000 square foot of, porches, balconies, all that type of stuff. Well, those still have to get built, and the general contractor has to manage that process as well. So just keep that in mind that every builder is different. Everyone quotes different prices depending on market and depending on material costs and contract labor. That's another thing that you can kind of look into and make sure that you know what you're getting into before you start, putting things in place to buy the lot, to pay for the architectural plans. Architectural plans are typically 15,000, 15 to 20,000 for an architect to draw up all the renderings, the floor plan, the elevation certificate, or the elevations, because every lot is different. A lot of people think, well, I've got a floor plan, I've got blueprints, we're good to go. Well, this lot is a different shape, a different, different elevation. There's 1,000 different factors with this lot. It might have wetlands encroaching on it that the architect has to take into consideration to put your blueprint on that lot. And if you want more information on that, I can probably do a video on building and new construction and things like that. But it is not as intimidating as it sounds. And I want to give a quick overview too, of, let's see if I can pull up the map. So essentially, to be down and dirty, you're looking for properties that need renovation. That's what you're looking for. Now, as far as return on investment, let's get a little closer on our map here. As everyone asks, Kurt, where's the best place to buy an investment property? Well, it kind of is where the opportunity is, right? That's kind of what you're looking for. You're looking for an opportunity. You're looking for someone who has to sell. So if we're looking at this map, you can kind of see it. It's a little difficult. Let's um, see if I can make this a little bit easier. So I tend to focus on Santa Rosa Beach, and I'll kind of break it up. Grayton Beach is about right here, um, about right here. And I would say the best opportunities for here. I'm going to pull up a different map. Let me pull up Google Maps because I think this will give you a better representation of what I'm talking about. So we don't have the listings over top of it. So let's see here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, this is kind of Destin right here. And then you have Miramar Beach. And then you have Sandestin Resort over here. And then you have Topsail, which is another resort over here, right here. And then you have Santa Rosa Beach North, which I would say north of 98, which is our major highway that goes through here. And then south of 98, which is normally made up of investment properties, short-term rentals, things like that. There are some pockets of people who live here in second homes and things like that, and people who own the beach houses who don't want to rent. Um, but for all intents and purposes today, let's just look at what areas typically have the best rate of return based on my experience. We've owned investment properties from Fort Walton Beach all the way over here to Rosemary Beach and Alice Beach. So we've kind of been at the top of the market, we've been at the bottom of the market, and everywhere in between where we're talking a $27,000 investment property and $1 million+ investment property. Um, so you're going to want to focus typically if you visit this area, you're probably going to Destin or 30A, one of those two, and you might know Miramar Beach, but it's not really like one of those super searched for places. So I really like Miramar Beach as an investment area. It's kind of off the grid as far as people come here and their eyes. And it has a lot of opportunity. The lots are typically bigger for houses. There are a lot of condos in Miramar Beach, but that's okay. If you're looking for a condo on the beach, you're going to have amazing views. And when renters come here, they want to have amazing views. So looking down here, you can see Destin is great. Miramar Beach is right here in the middle. And then you've got 30A and Santa Rosa Beach. Typically, the worst returns are going to be on 30A and in Santa Rosa Beach. Now, you're going to say, Kurt, you work 30A and you work Santa Rosa Beach and you're trying to sell investment properties and you're telling me it's a terrible, terrible return. It's not a terrible return, but I'll tell you this, you're probably going to have to do some value add because of the competition. So what is value add? So adding value to your investment property plainly means you're adding something that the renter gets for free that the other person might not offer. And that can be something something as easy as golf carts. A $5,000 golf cart you can include with your rental. Your neighbor might not have that. So that's a value add. Or it could be you throwing a round of golf at one of the local golf courses. So, adding these things to your listing, to your property is going to entice more people to come there and stay. And what we do is we basically cook it into the price. And it's not a big jump in price. It might be 50 bucks, a stay. But over the next 2 or 3 years, that $50 adds up and it pays for the golf cart. So, yes, you are paying up front for that value add, but it's going to give you dividends in return because you're going to get repeat clients. You're going to get repeat people who come to your house because they make great memories there and they want to come back. People are creatures of habit. They want to go back to the same place they know because they feel safe, they're familiar with it. And if you can get them in the door, chances are they're probably going to come back to your property. So, that being said, I have clients who have properties in Santa Rosa Beach and on 30A, and they're happy to break even, to be honest with you, because they want a house on 30A. It's a different mindset. If you like 30A, which is there's one high-rise condo building on 30A, and that's one Seagrove place. I think there's 22 stories or 18 stories with it. Everything else is low density. I think 5 stories is as tall as you can go. So you're not bombarded with condos. You're not, staring at this concrete wall of condos and a million people staying there. It's a very different vibe. Everything there is based on commuting by bike, by golf cart, which means the parking sucks, but that's just part of it. They want you to walk, they want you to ride bikes or whatever type of two-wheeled, e-bike or whatever you're wanting to ride. So keep that in mind that 30A, and if you don't know a lot about 30A, please go check it out. Go there and just go to these different towns. There's, you know, 12, 13 different towns here on 30A. It's like 26 miles. So it's a good, if you wanted to ride a bike through the whole thing, you could rent an e-bike and do it pretty easily in a day. But these are all different places. You got Blue Mountain Beach, you've got Grayton Beach and Seaside and Seagrove. I mean, these are all different places. Seacrest down here, and you've got Alice Beach. Alice Beach is so cool. So, like the architecture here, they're all concrete reinforced and everything's white and everything's clean. And then you come over here to, let's go to Grayton Beach, and everything is super funky. You've got a lot of different styles of architecture, and people, they're a little bit more laid back, and it's not so much, they're not looking at what you're wearing and things like that. And this is kind of where you find a lot of artists. Matthew McConaughey visits this area a lot. A lot of country, famous country artists live on 30A or have houses on 30A, and they visit the area a lot. Jason Aldean is one of them. His family has a house in the area, right down the street from one of my clients, which is pretty cool, actually, because I like Jason Aldean quite a bit. He's a good guy. Um, but anyways, so back to investment properties. So we're looking at this and we're kind of saying, okay, where do we want to start? Do we want to make money on this, or is it more of like I want the experience of being in this area? So start with that. Ask yourself these questions and write them down. And then whenever you and I talk, if you want to have a conversation about it, I can give you the pros and the cons of what you're making the list for. And another opportunity down here, we kind of talked about fixing uppers, right? The fixer uppers. We're looking for properties that need to be fixed up. We're looking for days on market. The houses that have been on the market for forever. They're probably a little bit more motivated. And also, believe it or not, some agents will actually put in the description of the properties, motivated seller. Seller says bring offer, must sell, things like that. Your agent should be looking through those listings and alerting you, hey, this person is really they're wanting an offer. Well, if they want an offer, make them an offer. It doesn't have to be market value. Everyone goes through the roof whenever you're like, hey, I'm gonna make a low ball offer. But in reality, it's what you believe the property is worth, which is all that matters. Doesn't matter what I think it's worth, what the listing agent think it's worth, the appraiser, the bank, the seller. It's what you think it's worth, because ultimately you're going to be responsible for that payment. So we talked about those types of opportunities, the for sale by owners. So another cool thing, if you're like, hey, I don't even know where to start with this stuff, so you can jump off my website. You can go to Zillow, and you can actually, let's see if I can Back to search. You can search specifically for sale by owners. And I used to prospect this way to get listings because I would call for sale by owners and try to explain to them that they're a target for investors. And I can't tell you how many times people said, "Hey, I don't need a realtor. I'm not paying 6%," which, by the way, every commission is negotiable. It's not set in stone that it's 6% or whatever percent. You can get paid a flat fee if you want. If your person says, "Hey, my budget's to pay a realtor $5,000 to find me a house," well, then it's $5,000. Okay, it's like whatever it is. My goal is to find you the great property and not haggle over, you know, the commission and things like that. So, anyways, I can't tell you how many times for sale by owners would say, "I'm not paying that commission, the 6%, call it." And I would see their house would sell and it would be 10 to 15% less than what the market value would have been. So they would have netted 6, 7, 8% more by hiring me and working with the listing agent to market the property to other buyer's agents and having that buyer agent, write a decent offer and negotiate it up. So it would have saved them some money to work with an agent. But again, that's everyone's right is to sell their house however they want it. And that's okay. So we're going to go to for sale, and I've got to look on here a little bit because I haven't looked on here in a while. It should be by owner posted. So, okay, so you'll go to more over here, and it'll say owner posted. So let's get rid of agent listed, new construction, foreclosures, auctions, blah, 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 coming soon, blah, 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 blah. And let's just see what we got here. So we have some opportunities here. So, in the case of these for sale by owners, remember, you're going to be directly speaking with the owner. Or if you call me and say, "Hey, Kurt, why don't you just negotiate for me and have the owner pay your fee?" Because I can cook that into the contract as well, that the owner pays my fee on my side, and I can negotiate directly against the seller, which is a huge benefit for any buyer to have an agent who's done hundreds of transactions, taking multiple master's level classes on negotiations. I feel pretty confident that I can get you the best deal against someone who might not have any experience at all. This one's been on the market. I know this house. It's been on the market probably for 3 years. 3 years. I'm curious. Now I want to look at it. And they just cut the price. Look at that. So, it's one of those that and it's 37 days, right? So they took it off, they put it back on, they take it off, they put it back on. It's like, hey, what's going on here? Why are we kind of kicking the tires? Maybe I'll sell, maybe I won't. What's going on? So these are opportunities where you can call people and you can also, so here's another nugget. I like to look up how much equity people have in their property. So if you're looking at, this house, 400 Ridge Road, let's do it an actual check on this. So 400 Ridge Road. So what we can do is we can go to the county tax records. Walton County tax records. Let's see, Walton County tax collector. And you can bookmark these pages. Please do. Blah, 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 blah. Let's just go to the full website. And let's just go to search the tax roll. This will tell us exactly what's going on. I think we can search by address and name. So on my MLS, I just click a button and it takes me here. So let's go ahead to here. And what was that? 400 Ridge Road. 400 Ridge Road, Santa Rosa Beach. Okay, we'll click on it. Let's see how much he paid for this. All right, let's see. I don't know if it doesn't say it on here. It might not give us the actual purchase price that he paid. Let's see. You might have to go to the property appraiser's website. Let's see. Okay, this I think should give us actually what he paid and the details of the transaction. So just type in the Walton County property appraiser. That's the correct search. And forgive me, mine, I click a button and it just takes me here. So, but I want to teach you. My point is that I want to teach you to find this information. So Mark, he paid, let's see. So it looks like he built this house. He paid $75,000 for the lot in 2013. And if we look at his house, let's say it's a 3,084 square foot house. So conservatively, back in that day, I would say costs were probably $200 a square foot. So we're looking at a build cost of 600 and something, but let's just be generous. Let's just say he spent 750, right? Like that's a lot more than what I think he spent building the house, but let's just call it 750. And up here, he spent $75,000 for the lot. So that's $825,000 that he is all in on the property, let's call it. And he's at about 1.8 million asking price. So he's got $1 million in equity, 900,000 in equity. So he's got a big margin that he can work with. There's a lot of money there. Hopefully he didn't do, or maybe he did, home equity lines of credit, second mortgages, things like that, that we can't see, that we might not know about. But at the same time, I know that he's got a lot of room to negotiate, versus maybe you look up this one and they paid 1.3 and they're trying to sell it for 1.3. Not a lot of people want to sell a property at a loss. That's just, they don't want to do it. They feel like they've lost. They feel like they're beat down. And, that's just part of the game. If you buy at the height, there's people who buy at the height and there's people who have to sell. So that's just part of it. So be okay with that, and understand that it can happen. That's just part of the risk of doing it. So check out how much equity they've got, and that might be a good tool that you can use to negotiate with them and say, hey, this is where I am. And the last thing I want to touch on here is, let me get rid of these. So the last thing, and I'll keep the map up just so it's kind of just by itself. So the last thing I want to talk about, when you find an investment property that needs a lot of work, that maybe it's probate, whatever it is, it's been handed down through the family. We're dealing with it now. We have to sell it. Okay, let's just get it gone. I don't want to put any money into it. You don't have to, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you do an as is contract. People get hung up on this because they're like, well, as is means I can't change anything. If I go into this, transaction, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with this crappy house that needs a bunch of work. And now and we just did the inspection and now there's a bunch of issues that I didn't even know about. Now I got, that I was making this offer based on, just what I could see, not what the report gave me. And as is contract is nice and clean. It gives the buyer actually a lot of opportunity to walk away for any reason at any time, past a certain point, or before a certain point, excuse me. And also, it gives you the opportunity to go back and renegotiate. And it takes the property off the market. So there's a bunch of big things happening in that statement. So, number one, you go under contract for a price in the condition that you believe the house is in. You do an inspection on the property. The inspector says, oh, by the way, it needs a new roof, it needs new plumbing, it needs new electrical. Well, unless you're a roofer, an electrician, or a plumber, you probably didn't know that. And possibly the owners didn't know it either because they might have never even seen the property. And the agent is a real estate agent, so they probably don't know that it needs a roof or electrical or plumbing as well. So what I do is I go back to the agent or the seller and say, hey, look, these issues came up, the roof, the plumbing, the electrical. We need to renegotiate on these because these are things that I didn't know about. And they're probably going to push back on you. They're going to say, well, look, we already took the price down to whatever, and you just bending us over the barrel. We're losing money on this left and right, blah, blah, blah. But here's the deal. In Florida, it's a full disclosure state. So whenever I go back to that agent, I say, look, that's fine, if you don't want to renegotiate, but now you have to disclose to everyone that it needs a new roof, that it has bad plumbing, and it has bad electrical. So you're going to have to pay for those things anyways. So you might as well negotiate with the buyer who's right here versus the buyer who is in the future that might not ever show up. That usually calms them down. And they say, oh, that's right. I forgot. We have to tell everyone about this now. And it's got to get fixed anyways, right? You might as well just keep working with us because we're willing to move forward, even with all these issues that we just found out about. So you can renegotiate after the fact on an as-is contract, or you can just walk away and say, hey, look, this is too much work. I'm not dealing with that. Let's move on to the next property. So I know that was a lot of information. And if you want any more detailed information on those types of things, I'd be happy to, do another video or just jump on a phone call and help you in any way possible. But I encourage you to look, keep your eyes out. Um, and also I thought of another thing while I was just talking about that. There's nothing wrong either. If you drive past a property and the grass is, super high, there's 10 newspapers on the front door, the mailbox is overflowing with mail. There's an old junkie for sale sign in the front yard that's fallen over, that's dilapidated. The agent didn't even go get it. They just left it. They're like, I'm not even going back to that place. I don't even want anything to do with it. You can pull up to that property, go up to the agent's dilapidated sign, call the agent and say, hey, I'm over here at 123, Anchor Lane, and I'm calling about it. Is this thing still for sale? And they'll say, oh, I completely forgot about that one. Yeah, it's still for sale. Let me call the owner. Let me figure it out. Um, Now you're negotiating and you're talking about a property that's not even on the market, which is a huge advantage because everyone has access to properties. Everyone can see, and that's how they start right now. They get online, they find a property, and that's how they start their search. You're finding a property that nobody else is looking at, and you have direct communication with the agent or or the seller, and you're negotiating directly with them. They might have been trying to sell the property for 300,000 10 years ago, and they might be happy taking 350 and it might be worth 600. They don't know. They probably remember what they had it listed for a long time ago. Are they keeping up with the market? Maybe. Are they still contacting their agent or getting market reports? Maybe. Another big thing that I would encourage you to do is that all these, Zillow's great. It'll send you listings. Every website will send you listings. If you type in wherever you're interested in, on my website, right? Santa Rosa Beach, search it. Right here, you can see complimentary market report. We can just click on this. And you can type in whatever area you want. It can be Destin, Santa Rosa Beach, anything you want. And it will give you a market report so you can tell if the market is trending up, is it trending down, is it flat? What's going on? So in 2 seconds, I can look at this and see, oh, homes for sale. Homes are going up. As an investor, that's good. We want as much inventory as we can. The lower amount of inventory, the higher the demand. Everything in real estate is supply and demand. If we see supply keep going down, we know that our sellers are going to start making some really good paydays. If inventory is going up and up and up and up and up, we know that the buyers are going to start showing up because they're going to start making offers. So this is kind of crazy, new to market. Look at this. These are trends that if you don't pay attention to them, if you don't look at this information, you could just not know. And as an investor or someone who wants to get their feet wet, this takes 2 seconds to look at, and you can call me and say, "Hey, Kurt, I noticed that the new to market was 199 homes. In 30 days, that's up 32%. 32% in the last 30 days. That is crazy. Okay. That is a lot of new properties hitting the market. 32%. Wow. Now your market average, your average home sale price, or excuse me, average home price, it's down, which means people are cutting their prices. They're not selling for asking or above asking. They're selling for below their asking price. So that's going to give you an indication that it's still a pretty balanced in a somewhat of a buyer's market. And we can come over here and look at price reductions. Oh, look at this. Price reductions, 194 price reductions. That's up almost 80%. Price reductions up 80%. Kurt, let's talk about this. I see an opportunity. This looks like a buyer's market. Let's find a property. Let's find something that I can come bring my family to and go down to the beach. Sounds good. This is the time. When these numbers look a lot different, when the market price, back in 2022, I think it was when the market went bananas, it was unsustainable. It was up like every 30 days, it was up 16 to 20%, the sales prices. I was like, this is crazy. People are making 30 to 50 grand in equity a month. It's nuts. So anyways, if you click this button, learn more, it'll just connect you with me. I can get you more information on a particular listing. And here's some recent listings. Here's some sold listings if you want to check out the sold information. The most expensive, this one's been on the market forever, 26.5 million. That's another one that, you know, you might offer 16 million on. I mean, it's whenever you get these high price listings, I was looking at one yesterday. It was in Destiny by the Sea. I was just curious because I always check the market every day. I look at properties. I look at very unique properties. And I noticed that this property was for sale at one time, and I was looking it up and doing research, and on the multiple listing service, it only had one picture. So I went back and dug deeper, found more pictures. In 2008, they were trying to sell it for 16 million. When the market crashed, they ended up selling it for 5.5 million. 5.5 million. And this is an 8,000 square foot, 9 bedroom, 8 bath Gulf front house for 5.5. Lots on the Gulf right now are in that 3 million plus area. Lots alone. No house, no 8,000 square foot, which is a colossal amount of money to build on the Gulf. Colossal. You're probably 2,500 a square foot. Yeah, I mean, just colossal amount of money to build. So, anyways, look for those opportunities and don't be afraid. If your price range is 1.8, bump it to 2.5 and see what's out there. So many people they get approved for a certain amount, and that's where they look to. Most agents will tell you, only look to what you're approved for. No, you need to look above that because so many people overprice their properties and it's in a different price bracket, and you don't even see it because your agent said, well, if you're only approved for 3 million, don't look over 3 million. And at 3.15 was the perfect house that you could have got for 3 million. So look at above, I would say 20% above where you are, where you feel comfortable, go 20% higher and see what's out there. Because you could go 20% higher and then go days on market and, oh, this one that matches my criteria has been on the market for a year and a half. Let's take a stab at that one. Let's see if we can get it where I need to get it. So hopefully you found this video informative. Hopefully you're on your search already. I'd be, more than happy to help you along this journey. I'm very grateful to be able to share this information with you. It's an amazing opportunity to have a place here at the beach. I am in love with this place. I love being outdoors here. It is an outdoor world. I'm inside right now. I wish I was outside. My wife's playing golf today. Super jealous of that. But this is the place to be. It's the greatest place on earth that's in the United States, and hands down. So if you loved it, awesome. If you need any help, hit my contact information, give me a call, shoot me an email, say, dude, I'm lost. Can you help me? Or where do I start? Where do I begin? And I love helping people get that journey started. And if that's you, let's connect. Thanks for checking out this video.